You have probably read already a press statement on some of the summary of Prime Minister's engagement issued by the Office of the Prime Minister. This is basically now to complement that press statement and probably to more or less give a little bit more information on the engagements. At the United Nations General Assembly last month, more than of the 192 members of the United Nations, 190 actually participated in the general debate. 76 heads of state, 50 heads of government, 4 vice presidents, 5 deputy prime ministers, 48 ministers, 7 heads of delegation. So it was a rich discussion, but generally the outcome of all the general statements, number one is basically there is a paradigm shift in the international system in which everyone is now adapting to and adjusting themselves to the various changes that are happening in the global system. On this, we have participated in that, and if you've more or less heard our Prime Minister more or less elaborated on our position in terms of managing how we see Solomon Islands within the geopolitics and the changing system, that we would like to have our sovereignty respected. We would like to have mutual cooperation with everyone, but we also would like to ensure that there is no internal interference into our affairs. These are basically universal principles. It's not principles only that belongs to Solomon Islands. So I'm just something where maybe just reiterating. At the United Nations also, the Prime Minister more or less extended its hands of friendship law Solomon Islands to the rest of the international community. As the UN Secretary General Talem, the UN is basically home for cooperation. The General Assembly is basically the life of cooperation. So the General Assembly debate was basically to use the tools of diplomacy, use the tools of deliberation and debate to find solutions to some of the global issues that is in front of us. And that's basically time you may contribute global agenda. We're basically trying to find a solution. The other issue that came out loud is basically issue of Ukraine. And again, position below you've probably already heard him, that we call for de-escalation, we call for calm, we call for diplomacy. We really are worried there's too much resources going into militarization, which suffocates development agenda, which puts money away from addressing other emergent urgent issues such as climate change. That something was we try to use him occasionally to tell him, and the Prime Minister more or less underscore him that one. But we must remember, Ukraine is only one of the 30 conflicts that is happening around the world. Yeah. So I think must ensure that we do not lose sight of other conflicts that are happening. Too often, sometimes what is media basically is the only conflict that is happening. View whatever we call for peace, seek peace, is basically seek peace everywhere. A death in any parts of other conflict is the same as the death that happens even in Ukraine. So on that you may continue to seek in peace, that one, and that is something that Solomon Islands have continued to push. The other one is with the conflict there is also threat of nuclear. use of nuclear weapons, use of weapons of mass destruction. That is also something that the Solomon Islands Prime Minister and a little bit Speaker Loham, because of the nuclear legacy of the Pacific, in which we were during the Cold War period, we were more or less used as testing grounds for nuclear weapons. We were used to store nuclear waste, and you may use for some also dumping o katakain of nuclear waste as well. So these are some of the things that we underscore, being a signatory to because of this intergenerational impact Blhem, because of transboundary impact Blhem. We have more or less a part of this Rarotonga Treaty, where you may also remind him, the international community, because the changing posture of countries around the world into the changing international system, and you have various alliances coming together, etc. Nuclear aspect can come, but we are reminding everyone that we remain a nuclear-free country, in the sense of we will not accept nuclear warheads or any form of nuclear something to weapons or boats or whatever to really come into our waters. It's just that we do not have the capability to address any of these. Should an accident happen, or should a situation where happen, it will be basically a disaster beyond us. The third major issue where everyone, especially the international community, are raising is on climate change, and this is something, again, you may make a position, very clear on that. It is frightening where we are going. Global temperature is already 1.2 degrees above Celsius degrees above pre-industrial level. This was a Paris Agreement, at least you may try to keep it as much as possible between at 1.5 degrees Celsius, or 2 degrees or so. But 2 degrees for us is basically already a little bit more difficult for us to manage ourselves. So at the moment we are just heading with the low commitments, global community, this under the Paris Agreement, we're heading more or less to a 3 degrees world, which basically means a lot of problems for countries like us, including our sovereignty. So one of the things that Prime Minister Ham also Talemlo international community is more to do with our territorial boundaries, that you may support him now. This will ensure that once we register all our maritime boundaries with the UN, in more or less in perpetuity, by not to be questioned, irrespective of sea level rise. So that's something that we are also working with them international with the under the UN UNCLOS UN convention, below ocean. You may try for shaping that one, but we're basically working with many other states on that. So we continue to support that work. We also on ocean also. You may support him too. One fala initiative below Vanuatu, in the sense of seeking ICJ opinion on the impact of climate change on states. Yeah, so that's another something where you may continue to support him. Just want to say a little bit on other issues where you may mention him in our national capacity, which is also part of the global agenda, is our LDC status. We've been impacted by the COVID-19. We have shrinking economy. we since we have you may first of all let me just backtrack. You may join him. This LDC status here. It's not something anyone you just want to you may want to join him. We can join it. You have to global. The UN now actually make an assessment of every countries, and once you meet him what criteria, you more or less UN tell them you for in our view you are considered you meeting requirement below LDC status, and once you so we basically inviting you to join him so that within the global system or give him special arrangements for least developed countries. Yeah, so that's that one. So 1991 now you may join him. Now we are part of the 46 LDC countries, which basically make up 1.1 billion population. Yeah, of LDC countries. We are due to graduate out of our LDC status by December 2024. That's on that. But since the decision for me to graduate out and transition out was made in 2018. Now, since then, COVID hit me in 2020. So things were progress where looking law 2018 have more or less been reversed and more or less impacted by not only COVID-19, the civil rest, but during that period also you may impacted by both the conflict law Ukraine with the cost of living now, where we have a little bit impact law not only globally but also to where have fuel and etc. cost yeah. We also have we are also dealing with impact law climate change also during during the period. So with all that, we our message to the international community is basically we are going to reassess where we are in terms of graduation date here, where I've got to make ML or to the international community put them that you must graduate out of that by 2024. So we will make that assessment. We will go through the proper process in terms of looking where we are. But the initial reports that we are having is basically we might need a little bit more time before you may graduate. We might ask for a little bit extension, but this is something that we will need to present our case before the UN system, so that we are considering now this possible extension. But those are what reports that is before us now, and also indicating that we really need that for something, as you will say, even the government budgets have for the last going into the third year now, you may going on also deficit budgets no more. But we have really tried to reset our economy in the sense of investing in the productive sector, so things might turn around. But for now, I think where we are now, we're not in a good place. We just want to probably say a few little bit story normal or other engagements beside the United Nations General Assembly general debate segment. We have had a number of thematic discussions within the UN system, within small island developing states, on climate change, on education. We have also had some discussions also on post-conflict peace building situations. We have also formalized relations with them two fellow countries, Barbados and Bahrain. We have also had a number of bilateral meetings with them, a number of countries from various parts of the world, Europe, Asia, Qatar, UAE, Maldives, Okadanara countries normal around globe. So the this declaration between the United States and the Pacific Partnership is basically focused on the 2050 strategy of the Blue Pacific continent. As you've all said, this 2050 strategy was adopted by leaders July Pacific Island Forum meeting, and September New York okata launching in September. Now that 2050 strategy is the vision of the where the United States this declaration align themselves to support him now this 2050 strategy. The strategy basically the strategy as covers a number of areas, thematic areas where it's really about political leadership and regionalism. Basically, political leadership and regionalism is just ownership and where of agendas below the Pacific will be driven by Pacific Island countries. Second one is people-centered development, peace and security, economic development, climate change and disaster, ocean and environment, technology and connectivity. Hem now some thematic areas below this 2050 strategy. The partnership where is between the Pacific and the United States, more or less along those along the agenda below Pacific, which means I think there is also there are 11 commitments that was made. One is strengthening this partnership. The partnership is basically again 2050 strategy. Also to do with U.S. trying to conclude compact agreements with them or Northern Pacific neighbors blaming. That's with FSM, Marshall Islands and Palau. So that's on that. It's also a commitment below United States also to try to enhance him presence below lo Pacific, increase him dialogue with them Pacific, but all this will be done in consultation with the Pacific countries. It intends, because the United States is also part of our regional architecture. It is a member below SPC, it is a member below SPREP, or different regional bodies that exist within the Pacific. I think there are with them SPC, a number of territories below US are part of members below SPC. Within the 2050 strategy, the apex, the main organization is the Pacific Island Forum. That's the political body, and but the United States will be more or less ensuring that him work with them. It is a dialogue partner under this Pacific Island Forum, so it will work within the regional framework that we have, the dialogue framework that we have with them, the United States and other partners as well. So that's on that. The second commitment o kata doim is a commitment on regionalism. Again, that one more or less again working with them o kata regional organizations below Pacific. It will try to leverage more partners within those that share in 2050 strategy values, to continue to interact with them with Pacific countries, taking into account the special circumstances below membership below members below Pacific Island Forum, especially the small island developing country status, which needs a little bit special arrangements, special attention on that. The third one is on climate change. Again, that one also a priority below countries below Pacific. We have not only on humanitarian, also on sharing of scientific information. So these are some of the benefits where NASA have sharing information, NOAA sharing scientific information. Our action in terms of dealing with some of these issues need to be based on science, and it has to be science driven. So that one too, we will continue to do. Cooperate with them. There is also economic growth support, in which on infrastructure, connectivity, other support of them. Again, that's something that we will continue to work with them, the United States on. We also have disaster, where also the U.S. will continue to try to build capacity to also help in what countries below Pacific to do that. Protect the Blue Pacific also is another commitment that the United States will have made commitments to work with that. We have a multilateral fisheries agreement with them, the United States. We have benefited under this fisheries agreement in terms of the finance where him come with them. Also, we are working with them. We have other regional arrangements with them, the United States, in combating IUU and dealing with them with other issues relating to the fish, the ocean. There are also other commitments in terms of security. Continue to work with them. I think this is just reiterating international law, UNCLOS, freedom of navigation, respect for sovereignty, and things that one I'm catered for. Dealing with pandemic is also another agreement where a commitment where I'm made law this partnership, not only with dealing with COVID-19, but also other pandemics that build national capacity to detect, respond, and prevent remote threats, especially infectious disease. So ninth is more or less people-to-people cooperation, opportunities for all our people. That basically, looking at U.S. looking at having stronger education, youth development, exchange opportunities for with them people below me. Also having more of our people actually trying to where there is sports opportunities for the interim law US. These are some of the areas where addressing. There is also another commitment where given law this under this arrangement is basically to address this nuclear legacy, UXO, and other World War II remnants, and also acknowledging too nuclear-free zone law, kind law, Rarotonga Treaty, etc. So, part law that one. final one is basically just on the partnership between us. Will be based on mutual respect. We may continue to meet regularly at all levels and also bilaterally. And you may just welcome on the market a partnership with everyone.